Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michael and I do real estate test prep for the state of Washington. So basically what I do is I go through the questions and answers of the Rockwell Institute's practice exams so myself and everyone else can pass the real estate exam and become agents. Hey guys, let's get started. Question. The entity that determines the maximum number of people who may legally live in a rental unit is the what? Answer, local health department and zoning authority. Explanation. Among the many things that local agencies such as a city's health department or zoning authority might determine the maximum occupancy of each dwelling in a particular area. Okay, question. A borrower defaults on a mortgage. What does the acceleration clause in the mortgage allow the lender to do? Answer, demand immediate payment of the entire loan balance. Explanation. An acceleration clause allows a lender to call a loan or demand the repayment of the entire loan balance in the event of a borrower's default. If the mortgage amount is $80,000 and the borrower paid $4,800 in discount points, how many discount points were charged? Answer is 6. Explanation. Divide the points paid by the loan amount to find what percentage was paid in points. So 4,800 divided by 80,000, which is 0.06. Since one discount point is the same as 1% of the loan amount, the borrower paid 6 discount points. Question. Of the following factors, which one is the most significant in influence value? Answer is location. Explanation. A property's location is usually the most determinative factor in terms of its value. A view or a prestigious neighborhood can boost the value of an otherwise unremarkable property. Okay, question. On a settlement statement, the seller's net proceeds are calculated by what? Answer, subtracting the seller's debits from the seller's credits. Explanation. To determine how much money the seller will take away from the transaction after closing, her net proceeds, in other words, start with the seller's credit and subtract the seller's debits. Okay, question. After the sale of a property in a 1031 exchange, the seller must close on the new property within what? Answer is 180 days. Explanation. Once a Section 1031 exchange, tax deferred or a tax-free exchange, has been arranged, these parties must close the transaction with 180 days. Okay, question. Which law prohibits discrimination in real estate transactions based on race with no exceptions? Answer is the Civil Rights Act of 1866. Explanation. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 prevents discrimination based on race or color in any real estate transaction without exceptions. The 1964 Act is limited to programs where the federal government offers financial assistance, while the Fair Housing Act, a part of the 1968 Act, is limited to residential transactions and has several exemptions. Okay, question. Josephine, a real estate agent, is showing a house to a buyer. The buyer loves the house, but wants certain appliances and pieces of furniture to stay in the house. Josephine should advise the buyer to what? Answer, to make an offer that includes the appliances and furniture, which would be reflected in a higher purchase price. Explanation. The buyer and seller can agree in the purchase and sale agreement that certain items of personal property will be included in the sale. Because the furniture is personal property, though, a separate document in addition to the deed, known as a bill of sale, will be necessary to transfer the personal property. Question. If a buyer wants to protect herself against unrecorded encumbrances, she should what? Answer, request a title insurance policy that has the fewest exceptions. Explanation. To protect against unrecorded encumbrances, a buyer would need a title insurance policy that goes beyond standard coverage, which is generally limited to title defects related to matters of public record. The buyer should request extended coverage or, in a residential transaction, homeowners title coverage, which provides greater protection than standard coverage. Okay, question. An easement for ingress and egress that is created by a court of law where it is reasonably necessary for the enjoyment of the property in an assessment. Answer: by necessity. Explanation. A court may find that an easement by necessity or easement by implication has been created if the easement is reasonably necessary for enjoyment of the property and if there are no apparent prior use. Okay, question. A minor leases an apartment right before he turns 18. Immediately after he reaches the age of majority, he contacts the landlord and says he's terminating the lease, which is true. Answer: this is possible because he notified the landlord within a reasonable amount of time after having reached the age of majority. Explanation. A person can usually void a contract he entered into as a minor. However, once he reaches majority, he has to act fairly quickly. Here, the tenant appears to have done so. Okay, question. An owner-occupied property qualifies for its state's homestead exemption from property taxes. Shortly after closing, the new assessed value of the property is issued, and the property tax amount increases significantly. The seller's agent is obligated to what? Answer: do nothing. Explanation. New information that is material and comes to light after the disclosure statement has been given to the buyer should be disclosed in an amendment statement. Higher property taxes are material if the increase is great enough to the buyer that the buyer might consider the transaction. However, material facts that are discovered after closing do not need to be disclosed, and the buyer no longer has the right of rescission. Okay, question. Most conventional loans contain an alienation clause which prohibits what? Answer: the loan from being assumed without the lender's consent. Explanation. The alienation clause, also called the due on sale clause, prohibits the assumption of the loan. It means that if the property is sold, the loan must be paid off. Question. A rectangular lot measures 215 feet by 154 feet. If comparable land sells for 40,000 acres, how much is the lot likely to sell for? Answer is $30,000. Explanation. The first step is to find the square footage of the lot. So you have to do 215 feet by 154 feet, which is 33,110. Then convert this to acreage. So 33,110 divided by 43,560, and you get 0.76 acres. So you do the $40,000 times 0.76, which is 30,400, closest to 30,000 of the answers. Hey guys, so that's all I got for today. Come back next time and we'll go through more of the Rockwell Institute's practice exam. See you next time.